Good morning here. This is Valerie Milano, the senior editor of the Hollywood Times and Aspiring Magazine, and I'm here in Palm Springs, California, and I'm going to let our guest introduce herself. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm Malin Johansson, the director and screenwriter of the film DÄCK 5B. And hi from a dark Stockholm. I'm in the far north, so here the daylight is already gone, but it's a pleasure to be with you guys.
Great. Thank you so much again for your time and sharing your film, your short film. There were a couple of moments of selfishness in this film depicted by, uh, in the short. In your opinion, are parents ever allowed to be selfish, or should their whole lives be dedicated to their children?
Ooh, that is a tough moral question to start off with. I believe it's hard to be a human. I believe freedom comes with a price very often. I believe falling in love passionately is not a choice many times. The wish of feeling fully alive is also can be very strong. So I believe that you are allowed to follow your heart, to throw yourself out there. But of course, as a parent, you have responsibility for others. So it's very tricky. I
So,
don't answer this even in the film, so I don't want to
yeah,
I don't want to judge. I will say it's not easy to be a human being.
yeah. You're so young. What was the inspiration for the film? Because it's very interesting. The setting, the location, it being on a ferry. Talk about that, all those things a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I saw this woman myself framed by my own car window when I was going to an island outside Sweden called Gotland. Actually, also the island where Ingmar Bergman lived, or he lived at a tiny one outside. But I was on my way there, and this woman drove up next to me, blushing cheeks, like couldn't help herself from smiling, ran out of the car, kissed a guy very passionately, and it was kids everywhere, like in his car, in her car. When we were driving off again, like the mood completely shift. You know, you're not allowed to stay on parking deck during the ride, so we were gonna start our car to drive off. She didn't show this to the kids in her back seat, but I happened to see it because I was on the other side of her window. But she just looked in front of her as all her dreams had left her, and she had these silent tears running down her cheeks. And I was like, what happened? Like only a few hours. What was that? Um, so that was the spark. Curiosity. I also had to dig within myself. What was it in me that made this image stuck with me? I've probably been both in the front seat and back seat of that car, you know.
Yeah. Wow. So that was your inspiration for shooting this, for writing this. Because I found it fascinating just to see how the children that you shot, how the little girl that was in the car of her dad and the little boy, how they looked at each other. Just so many different innuendos throughout the film. And I hope that our readers and our viewers will check it out. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Getting
Yes.
back to the actual set of being on the ferry, how long did it take you to shoot it? Because obviously you said you're not allowed to be in the vehicle while it's moving. How did all that take place?
Exactly. Shooting on a ferry boat with its own wheel and timetable and other passenger is, of course, an extra layer to the planning. We also shot it in November in Sweden, which means very few hours of daylight. But with a beautiful team and beautiful help also from the ferry boat, we managed. We had 4 days of shooting. two of them, we wanted to really catch the real thing, so we shot it while it was in traffic with all the other passengers, all the other cars. 2 days we were on an empty boat where we could control the setting more.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no ending. I wanted to see how things worked out, right? In the film. Are there any possibilities that the audiences can expect to see a feature film based on this short? So we know maybe what's going to happen in the end.
Yeah, I would be more than happy to work with Alma again, Pöysti, who is portraying and playing the lead role here as Mia. I'm also very curious on what happens. It's almost like it's the beginning instead of the end, this one. Everything changed. They will continue their journey. So for sure, why not? But as it is now, it's a short, for sure.
And so just to wind it down, how can our viewers and our readers find the film, find out more about you and what you're doing next?
Yeah, internet is always a great source. This is the second film in a trilogy of shorts. My first one, MADDEN, is also qualified for the Academy 2025. It premiered in Berlin last year, and that is also about how it is to be a human, having to choose between your duty and your desire or your longing. But instead, it's a 13-year-old girl, high-heeled shoes in cow dung is my very short pitch on that film. I'm also writing number 3 in this trilogy and my first feature as well, which is a film it's dedicated to everyone who ever tried to ride a skateboard on a gravel road, that film. But it's a different one. Yeah.
So what is your website address or your social
Oh yeah,
media handles?
exactly. It's Malin Ingrid on Instagram, and it's maliningrid.com, and also my production company Pine has a great website where you can find it all. So pine.se is also great.
All right, thank you. We're the Hollywood Times Official is our YouTube channel, and the Hollywood Times Today is our online magazine, and aspiringmagazine.com. So thank you so much, Malin, for joining us today, and have a good evening there in Sweden. And
Thank you.
hopefully maybe one day we can meet in person at one of these wonderful film festivals.
I hope so too. Oh,
Good
thank
luck
you.
to
It was
you.
a
All
pleasure.
right. Bye-bye.